War is many things to many people. To some, it is a path to profits. To others, a way to unify a nation and shift attention from unrest. But to many, it is a shedding of blood that strips people of their individuality and humanity. 40 million soldiers and civilians were killed or injured in World War I, all because of pointless geopolitics and imperialism. The harrowing lives of soldiers in the war is captured in All Quiet on the Western Front, written by Erich Maria Remarque. Paul Bonner, a 19-year-old German soldier, narrates the novel as his humanity is slowly stripped away from him. The first instance of loss of humanity is when Kemrick, a friend of Paul, passes, and another one of his friends only cares about his boots. After Kemrick passes, Paul and the others go to lay barbed wire on the front line. While Paul and his friends are talking, they reflect and reminisce on their training under Colonel Himmelsauce. He taught the soldiers to lose their individuality and patriotism, as well as humiliate them. Although this training was tough, Paul reflects that it was necessary. Had we gone into the trenches without this period of training, most of us would certainly have gone mad. As shells rained down on the men, while they were placing barbed wire and wishing only to survive, they moved by instinct, not thought, with a quote from the novel stating, "At the sound of the first droning of shells, we rush back, in one part of our being, 1,000 years, by the animal instinct that is awakened in us. We are led and protected. It is not conscious. It is far quicker, much more sure, less valuable than conscious." After this, the soldiers go to the front, where they face an attack by enemy infantry. The battle results in high casualties, and when Paul and his friends are given a moment of respite, they attempt to regain their youthful innocence. Battle results in high casualties, and when Paul and his friends are given a moment of respite, they attempt to regain their youthful innocence by meeting with a couple of French girls. Returning to his hometown, Paul feels isolated and disconnected from civilian life, with Paul reminiscing, "I ought never to have come here. Out there, I was indifferent and often hopeless. I will never be able to be so again. I was a soldier, and now I am nothing but an agony for myself, for my mother, for everything that is so comfortless and without end." After this, Paul goes to where Russian prisoners of war are held. Observing the prisoners, he realizes that they are just like him, not monsters who must be crushed like the military portrayed them to be. If you are enjoying the content in this video and desire more, consider liking and subscribing. If you have any book recommendations or video ideas, leave them in the comments below, and enjoy the rest of the video. Being sent to the front, Paul hides in a shell hole, attempting to survive an attack. Suddenly, a French soldier jumps into the hole, and Paul stabs him. This destroys Paul mentally and emotionally. This is the first time I have killed with my own hands, whom I can see close at hand, whose death is my doing. Kat and Kropp and Mueller have experienced it already. When they hit someone, it happens to many, in hand-to-hand fighting especially. But every gasp lays my heart bare. This dying man has time with him. He has an invisible dagger which he stabs me. Time and thoughts, Paul remarks. When this happens, Paul begins to learn the cruelty of war, the fact that both sides are just people fighting the war for people who don't care for them. They have families and people who care for them. They are sent away to die. Before this, the Kaiser, the ruler of Germany, visited the German army, and Paul realizes who all this bloodshed is for, and Paul is unimpressed. We stand to attention, and the Kaiser appears. We are curious to see what it looks like. He stalks along the line, and I am really disappointed. Judging from his picture, I imagined him to be bigger and more powerfully built, but above all, have a thundering voice. Being wounded in battle, Paul and his friends go to the hospital, where they see the mutilation caused by the war and the doctors. They see a man crippled by the war who is separated from his family. The devil take all conventions. They are made for other times. Here lies the carpenter, Joanne Lewandowski, a soldier shot to a cripple. And there's his wife, who knows when he will see her again. He wants to have her. He should have her. Good. Near the end of the war, Paul is killed. But the day that he is killed is reported as being a quiet day of the war. The death of a human being is considered insignificant. The importance of life is discarded during war. People are described as numbers, and they lose significance. Only a few people dying a day in a war feels better to hear than the stories of those who are lost. Today, a war is going on in Iran, and many say that America should put boots on the ground or send weapons to help Israel for something that the governments have been claiming for years. Because people are thousands of miles away and have differing views, some are calling for the unnecessary death of innocent civilians. Sadly, war will always exist. People will always suffer and die, mostly for pointless reasons. This unrest in the world worries many people. But if I could tell you the secret to obtaining peace in this life, which passes all understanding, the secret to peace is Jesus Christ. Sar Shalom, the Prince of Peace, the one who holds the governments on his shoulders. If you need peace in your life, turn to Jesus and he will give it to you. War strips soldiers and civilians of their humanity and value, and destroys countries and lives.